More than 1 million cases of food poisoning each year in the United States are linked to improper handling of eggs, according to the United States Department of Agriculture. That's a surprising number, especially when you consider how common eggs are in our daily diets and how easy it is to assume they're always safe. Eggs are often praised as one of the healthiest, most nutrient-rich foods we can eat, loaded with high-quality protein, vitamins, and essential fats. But what many people over 60 may not realize is that the way we prepare, store, and cook our eggs can quietly affect our health in ways that add up over time. In fact, something as simple as overcooking, undercooking, or using the wrong type of oil can reduce their benefits or, worse, introduce risks we'd never expect. As we age, our bodies naturally become more vulnerable to things like inflammation, digestive issues, and foodborne illness, so it becomes even more important to be mindful of how we handle the foods we eat regularly. In this video, we're going to explore 5 common mistakes people make with eggs that could be doing more harm than good. If you've been cooking or eating eggs the same way for years, some of these may surprise you. But the good news is, once you know what to look for, the fixes are simple. And no, you don't have to give up eggs. In fact, with just a few easy changes, you can keep enjoying them as a delicious and safe part of your daily routine. So stay with us, because this is about more than just avoiding mistakes. It's about making the most of your food, protecting your health, and making every meal count. Let's get started with mistake number 1, overcooking. And that brings us to the first mistake, a mistake so common that many of us make it without thinking twice, overcooking our eggs. It might seem harmless to fry your eggs until the edges turn golden and crispy, or to boil them until the yolk is solid and dry. But what many people don't realize is that exposing eggs to high heat for too long can actually damage their nutritional value, and in some cases even create harmful compounds that may quietly work against your health. Eggs are naturally packed with essential nutrients, high-quality protein, healthy fats, vitamin B12 choline for brain function, and powerful antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin that support eye health. But when you cook them at very high temperatures, especially when frying or boiling them too long, you start to break down those fragile nutrients. According to a study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, overcooking eggs can reduce antioxidant levels by as much as 17–20%. Especially lutein and zeaxanthin, which are known to protect against age-related macular degeneration, a leading cause of blindness in people over 60. More concerning, however, is what happens to cholesterol when eggs are exposed to excessive heat. Eggs do naturally contain cholesterol, mainly in the yolk, and when that cholesterol is overheated or oxidized, it can become harmful. Oxidized cholesterol is a byproduct of cooking at high heat, particularly when frying or baking, and has been linked in several studies to increased inflammation, arterial damage, and a higher risk of heart disease. A review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition emphasized that oxidized lipids, not dietary cholesterol itself, pose the greater risk to cardiovascular health, especially for older adults with pre-existing heart conditions or slower metabolism. And the warning signs are right under your nose, literally. If you've ever boiled eggs for too long and noticed that strong sulfur smell or seen a gray-green ring form around the yolk, that's more than just an aesthetic issue. It's a chemical reaction. The sulfur in the egg white reacts with the iron in the yolk, forming ferrous sulfide, which not only smells unpleasant, but also indicates that some nutrients have been degraded. While this doesn't make the egg toxic, it's a clear sign that the cooking process has gone too far. Take a story of Robert, who's 77 years old and used to pride himself on his crispy fried eggs every morning, cooked on high heat until the edges crackled and browned. "That's how I grew up eating them," he once said, "and I always liked that crunch." But over time, Robert began experiencing frequent heartburn, bloating, and a sluggish kind of fatigue that seemed to stick with him throughout the day. After a routine checkup and a chat with a nutritionist, he learned that overcooking his eggs might be part of the problem. The nutritionist explained how oxidized cholesterol and heat-damaged fats can irritate the digestive tract and contribute to chronic inflammation. So, Robert made one simple change. He switched to cooking his eggs low and slow, soft scrambled in a bit of butter or lightly poached. Within just a few weeks, his digestion noticeably improved, and he found he had more steady energy and less of that heavy feeling in his stomach after breakfast. This isn't just anecdotal. The science backs it up. A 2021 meta-analysis published in Nutrients found that gentle cooking methods such as poaching or soft scrambling eggs over low heat help preserve critical nutrients and prevent harmful oxidation of cholesterol. In contrast, cooking eggs at high temperatures, especially frying at temperatures above 350 degrees Celsius, can significantly increase the formation of cholesterol oxidation products, COPs, which are associated with oxidative stress and early markers of atherosclerosis. The good news is you don't have to give up eggs or flavor to protect your health. A few small adjustments in your kitchen can make a big difference. Try poaching your eggs soft, boiling them for just 6 to 7 minutes, or gently scrambling them on low heat with a touch of olive oil or grass-fed butter. Not only will they taste softer and creamier, but they'll also retain more of the nutrients your body needs, especially as you age. If you enjoy fried eggs, don't worry, you don't have to give them up entirely. Just lower the heat and avoid cooking them until they brown. Instead, cook them slowly over medium or even low heat until the whites are set and the yolks are still vibrant. It may take a couple extra minutes, but your heart, your eyes, and your digestive system will thank you. So remember, how you cook your eggs matters just as much as eating them. The difference between a dry, overcooked breakfast and a gently prepared, nutrient-rich meal may seem small, but over time it can be the difference between supporting your long-term health and slowly undermining it without even realizing. One egg at a time, one small habit at a time, you can make a big impact. The second mistake many people make, often with the best of intentions, is eating raw or undercooked eggs believing it's the more natural or more nutritious way to enjoy them. You might have heard that raw eggs retain more vitamins, or that bodybuilders in the old days used to drink them straight from the shell for strength and muscle. But while it's true that cooking changes the chemical structure of food-eating eggs, raw carries very real health risks, especially for older adults. One of the biggest concerns is the risk of salmonella infection, a type of bacteria that can live inside raw or undercooked eggs without any obvious signs. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), about 1 in every 20,000 eggs in the U.S. may be contaminated with Salmonella enteritidis. Now, that might sound like a small number, but it only takes one contaminated egg to cause severe symptoms, especially in people over the age of 60. For a healthy young adult, a Salmonella infection might just mean a couple days of discomfort cramps, nausea, maybe some diarrhea. But for older adults whose immune systems may not be as strong or responsive, it can quickly lead to serious complications like dehydration, hospitalization, or in rare cases, even death. And the symptoms can strike fast within 6 to 72 hours after consumption. But the risks of eating raw eggs don't stop at bacteria. There's another lesser-known issue involving a protein called avidin, which is found in egg whites. Avidin binds to biotin, a vital B vitamin that your body needs for energy metabolism, nervous system function, and maintaining healthy skin, hair, and nails. When you eat raw eggs, avidin remains active and can interfere with your body's ability to absorb biotin. Over time, especially if raw eggs are consumed regularly, this can lead to biotin deficiency, which may cause symptoms like hair thinning, skin irritation, fatigue, and even mood imbalances. Fortunately, cooking deactivates avidin and makes the biotin and all the other nutrients in eggs far more bioavailable to your body. That means your body can actually use and absorb the nutrition more effectively from a cooked egg than from a raw one. Let's take a look at someone who learned this lesson firsthand. Carol, age 68, had started adding raw eggs to her morning smoothies because she read online that it would boost her energy and help her hair grow thicker. She bought organic eggs from a local farm and assumed they were safer than store-bought. For a while, things seemed fine until one morning she woke up with severe stomach cramps and waves of nausea. Within hours, she was weak, dehydrated, and ended up in the emergency room where doctors confirmed it was salmonella poisoning. She recovered, but the experience left her shaken. Her doctor gently explained that even organic, free-range or backyard eggs can still carry harmful bacteria, especially if they're not pasteurized. "I thought I was doing something healthy," she later said, "but I didn't realize I was taking such a big risk." Carol's story is more common than many people think. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, the best way to prevent illness from eggs is to cook them until both the whites and yolks are firm. This means scrambling eggs, thoroughly boiling them until the center is solid, or poaching them long enough that no runny white remains. These methods not only kill off harmful bacteria, but also enhance the body's ability to access key nutrients. Some people might ask, what about runny yolks? If you enjoy softer eggs, there is a safer alternative: pasteurized eggs. These are eggs that have been gently heated in their shells just enough to kill bacteria without actually cooking the egg inside. They're a good option for recipes that call for raw or lightly cooked eggs, like homemade mayonnaise or Caesar dressing, or for anyone who prefers a soft center but wants to minimize risk. But even then, cooking eggs fully remains the safest route, especially if you're older or have a health condition that affects immunity. It's also worth noting that raw eggs can appear perfectly clean on the outside and still be contaminated on the inside. The shell may look pristine, the egg may smell normal, but that doesn't guarantee safety. That's why relying on smell appearance or even egg freshness isn't enough when it comes to foodborne illness. The safest approach is to cook your eggs properly, store them correctly, and only consume raw eggs if they've been specifically pasteurized. So if you've been adding raw eggs to shakes or eating undercooked eggs thinking they're giving you extra nutrition, it might be time to rethink that habit. Because the truth is, raw eggs can do more harm than good, especially as your body becomes more sensitive with age. Cooking eggs thoroughly isn't just about avoiding illness, it's about ensuring that your body gets all the benefits this powerful food has to offer without any of the danger. Think of it this way: your health is built on hundreds of small decisions every day, and something as simple as cracking an egg into a hot pan instead of a cold blender can be one of those decisions that helps keep you safe, energized, and well. The third mistake that often goes unnoticed is improper storage of cooked eggs, a small oversight that can quietly turn a healthy meal into a breeding ground for harmful bacteria. Many people assume that once an egg has been cooked, it's safe to eat any time. But the truth is, once eggs are removed from their protective shells or exposed to air and temperature changes, they become much more vulnerable to contamination. And for older adults, this can be especially risky. As we age, our stomach acid tends to decrease and our immune system may not respond as quickly or effectively to foodborne pathogens. That means a foodborne illness that might just be uncomfortable for someone in their 20s could become dangerous or even life-threatening for someone in their 60s or 70s. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA perishable foods, including cooked eggs, should never be left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. If the environment is particularly warm, like a sunny kitchen in the summer, that window shrinks to just 1 hour. That's because bacteria such as Salmonella, Listeria, and E. coli multiply rapidly between 40 degrees and 140 degrees, a temperature range known as the danger zone. Once cooked eggs enter that zone, the risk of bacterial growth increases dramatically. And even if you later refrigerate them or reheat them, you can't always undo the damage that's already been done. Reheating may kill some bacteria, but not all. In some cases, the toxins left behind by bacteria can remain active even after cooking. That's why proper handling and storage from the beginning are so important. Let's consider a common scenario. You make a few boiled eggs in the morning, but leave them on the counter for a couple of hours, planning to eat them later. They look fine, smell fine, and taste okay, so you don't think twice. But what you don't see is that microscopic bacteria may already be multiplying, and if you eat those eggs, especially if your immune system is already weakened by age or medication, you may experience nausea, cramping, or worse within hours. Proper storage means more than just putting food in the fridge. It means placing cooked eggs in airtight containers, not loosely wrapped foil or plastic wrap, and storing them at or below 40 degrees, ideally in the coldest part of the refrigerator, not the door where temperatures fluctuate every time it's opened. You should also avoid storing cooked eggs near raw meat or unwashed produce, both of which can transfer bacteria through air contact or condensation. Cross-contamination is a real and often overlooked problem. In fact, a study published in the journal Food Control found that refrigerator surfaces and improperly sealed containers were among the leading sources of contamination in household kitchens. Another factor to keep in mind is timing. Cooked eggs don't last forever. Hard-boiled eggs stored in the refrigerator should be eaten within 1 week. Scrambled or fried eggs. They're best consumed within 3 to 4 days. After that, not only does the risk of spoilage increase, but the texture, taste, and nutritional quality begin to degrade. The longer eggs sit in the fridge, the more their proteins break down, and the more likely they are to develop an unpleasant sulfuric smell or slimy texture, even if they look okay at first glance. When reheating, avoid blasting eggs in the microwave at high heat, which can dry them out and create rubbery, unpleasant textures. Instead, gently warm them on the stovetop over low heat, adding a splash of water or broth to keep them moist. This helps maintain both their taste and their nutritional value while also reducing the risk of overheating. Let me share a quick story. Henry, age 73, had a habit of meal prepping eggs at the beginning of the week, boiling a dozen and keeping them in a bowl in the fridge for quick snacks. But he didn't label them, didn't use airtight containers, and sometimes forgot when he cooked them. One afternoon, he grabbed an egg that had been in the fridge for at least 10 days, peeled it, and ate it with a sprinkle of salt. By evening, he was feeling nauseous and weak. After a rough night and a trip to urgent care, he was diagnosed with a mild foodborne illness. His doctor gently explained that even cooked eggs go bad and that refrigeration isn't magic, it's only effective if combined with safe timing and proper storage. From that point on, Henry started writing dates on his containers using sealed glass jars and eating his eggs within a few days. He hasn't had a problem since. His story is a reminder that small habits like labeling leftovers or investing in a few airtight containers can make a big difference. Proper storage might not seem like a big deal, but it's a key part of protecting your digestive system and making sure that the food you eat is helping, not hurting your health. And let's face it, after spending the time to buy good eggs, cook them properly, and plan your meals, it would be a shame to let something as simple as storage ruin all that effort. So the next time you cook eggs, remember getting them on the plate is only half the job. How you store them afterward matters just as much. It's one more way to take care of your health, one small choice at a time. The fourth mistake that often slips under the radar is using eggs that are cracked, expired, or stored improperly, something many people do without realizing the risks involved. It's easy to assume that if an egg looks mostly okay or doesn't smell off, it's probably safe to eat. But that small crack in the shell or that egg that's been sitting in the fridge a week or two past its expiration date can open the door to harmful bacteria and unpleasant consequences, especially as we get older and our immune systems become more sensitive. Eggs are naturally protected by a thin coating on their shells called the bloom, which helps block bacteria from entering. But when that shell is cracked even just slightly, that protection is lost. Microscopic bacteria like Salmonella can enter through that opening and begin to multiply inside, even if the egg still looks and smells fine. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA eggs with visible cracks should never be used unless they were cracked while cooking and will be thoroughly cooked right away. But many people either miss these cracks or choose to ignore them, thinking it's no big deal. Unfortunately, it can be a big deal, especially for seniors who may have underlying conditions like diabetes, digestive issues, or reduced stomach acid that make it harder to fight off foodborne illnesses. Expired eggs come with their own risks. While expiration dates aren't always hard cutoffs, they're there for a reason. Over time, eggs lose moisture and carbon dioxide through the shell, changing the pH level inside and creating an environment that's friendlier to bacterial growth. Even if the shell remains intact, older eggs are more likely to harbor bacteria internally, especially if they've been stored in fluctuating temperatures like in the refrigerator door. That's why food safety experts strongly recommend storing eggs in their original carton on an inside shelf where the temperature stays more consistent. One of the simplest and most reliable ways to check whether an egg is still good is the water test. Just place the egg in a bowl of cold water. If it sinks and lies flat on its side, it's fresh. If it sinks but stands upright, it's still safe but getting old and should be used soon. If it floats, it's gone. Bad gas buildup from bacterial activity has made the egg less dense, and it should be discarded immediately. This test is quick, easy, and surprisingly accurate. Let me share 2 quick stories that show just how different outcomes can be based on simple choices. Mary, age 72, has always been careful about her food. Every week she checks the dates on her egg cartons, does the water test, and never uses an egg if she's unsure about it. She stores her eggs properly and never leaves them out on the counter. In the last 10 years, she hasn't had a single bout of food poisoning or even a bad stomach from her eggs. Her motto is simple: when in doubt, throw it out. On the other hand, John, 74, is more relaxed when it comes to food safety. He often uses eggs with small cracks, trusting his nose to tell him if something's wrong. Last spring, he grabbed an egg from the fridge that looked slightly cloudy when cracked and had a faint odor, but he figured cooking it would kill whatever's in there. A few hours after eating it, he began to feel nauseous. By evening, he was doubled over with cramps, sweating, and vomiting. He ended up in urgent care, where they confirmed he had foodborne illness caused by a contaminated egg. That experience changed his view completely. Now he checks his eggs just like Mary does. These real-life stories serve as a reminder that it only takes one bad egg to cause a lot of trouble, especially as we age. The signs of a spoiled egg aren't always obvious. While a rotten egg will usually smell foul and sulfuric, some contaminated eggs may not have any smell at all. Cloudy egg whites, discoloration, or a watery consistency can also be signs that something isn't right. But by the time you notice any of those, it might already be too late. So what's the safest approach? First, always inspect eggs before use. Don't just glance. Look for hairline cracks. Check the expiration date, and when in doubt, use the water test. Second, don't store your eggs in the refrigerator door where the temperature fluctuates the most. Instead, keep them in their carton placed on a stable cold shelf inside the fridge. The carton also helps prevent the eggs from absorbing odors or bacteria from other foods. And third, never use an egg that you suspect might be off, even if you're planning to cook it thoroughly. Cooking may kill some bacteria, but it doesn't always destroy the toxins they produce. Simply put, the risk is never worth it. Eggs are one of the most affordable and nutritious foods available, but only if they're safe. So before you crack your next egg, take a moment to check it properly. It's a small habit that can protect your health in a big way, especially as you get older. Your body is worth that extra care, and your peace of mind is worth more than a questionable egg ever will be. The fifth mistake that often goes unnoticed is cooking eggs with unhealthy oils, a seemingly small decision that can quietly transform a nutritious meal into something that promotes long-term inflammation and chronic disease. Most people focus on the eggs themselves, free-range, organic, brown, or white, but few stop to think about what they're cooking those eggs in. The truth is, the type of oil you use in the pan can make just as much of a difference as the quality of the egg itself. Many people, especially those who developed cooking habits decades ago, still rely on processed seed oils like vegetable oil, soybean oil, corn oil, or even margarine. These oils were once considered heart-healthy because they're low in saturated fat, but science has come a long way since then, and now we know that those same oils can become unstable when heated. When oils like these are exposed to high temperatures, like when frying eggs, they begin to break down and oxidize. This process creates harmful compounds, including trans fats and oxidized lipids, which have been linked to increased oxidative stress in the body. Oxidative stress is a major contributor to aging, inflammation, and the development of chronic diseases like heart disease, Alzheimer's, and even certain cancers. A study published in the journal Food and Chemical Toxicology found that repeated heating of vegetable oils leads to the formation of polar compounds and aldehydes, chemicals associated with tissue damage and cardiovascular dysfunction. For older adults who are already more vulnerable to inflammation and age-related decline, this hidden danger in the kitchen can quietly work against your health day after day, meal after meal. Let's consider two real-life examples. Linda, age 69, used to fry her eggs every morning in canola oil. It was affordable, easy to use, and she had heard it was better than butter. Over time, however, she started noticing that her digestion wasn't as smooth as it used to be. She felt bloated after meals and had a kind of mental fog in the mornings that didn't go away with coffee. At her annual checkup, her doctor gently suggested that some of her dietary choices could be playing a role in how she felt. After reviewing her cooking habits, the doctor recommended switching from processed seed oils to more stable, nourishing fats. So Linda made a simple change. She began cooking her eggs on low heat, using grass-fed butter and occasionally olive oil. Within just a few weeks, she reported feeling lighter, more energetic, and noticeably clearer mentally. Her digestion improved, and she no longer experienced that heavy, sluggish feeling after breakfast. On the other hand, Bill, age 70, continued using margarine and a generic vegetable oil blend because that's what he'd always done. He liked that they heated up quickly and didn't cost much. He considered his diet fairly healthy overall and didn't connect the dots when he began having joint stiffness and low energy in the afternoons. It wasn't until a conversation with a dietitian prompted by increasing fatigue and lab work showing signs of systemic inflammation that he learned his cooking oils might be part of the problem. When he switched to avocado oil and ghee, he noticed gradual but steady improvements in how he felt less joint pain, better digestion, and more sustained energy throughout the day. These two stories highlight how something as simple as the oil in your frying pan can either support your health or silently chip away at it over time. The good news is there are plenty of healthy, heat-stable fats that not only make your eggs taste better, but also protect your body from inflammation. Butter, especially from grass-fed cows, is rich in fat-soluble vitamins and has a relatively high smoke point, meaning it doesn't break down as quickly as many people think when used over medium heat. Ghee, which is clarified butter, is even more stable and has been used in traditional cooking for centuries. Olive oil, particularly extra virgin olive oil, is another great option when used gently over low to medium heat. It's high in monounsaturated fats and antioxidants that support heart and brain health. And if you prefer a more neutral flavor, avocado oil is one of the best choices available. It has a very high smoke point, is loaded with healthy fats, and doesn't overpower the flavor of your eggs. Coconut oil is another good choice for those who enjoy its distinct taste and want a plant-based option. The key is to avoid oils that are heavily refined, chemically extracted, or designed to be cheap rather than nourishing. So the next time you crack an egg into a hot pan, take a moment to think about what else is in that pan with it. That sizzling sound might be comforting, but what's happening on a chemical level could be undermining your best efforts to eat well. By choosing the right cooking fat, you preserve the integrity of the egg and avoid introducing toxins that your body then has to work hard to eliminate. In the long run, these small changes add up meal after meal, day after day. Choosing healthier oils is one of the simplest and most effective ways to upgrade your nutrition without changing what you eat, just how you cook it. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to give up your favorite breakfast. You just have to cook it with a little more wisdom. After all, your body isn't just what you eat, it's what you absorb and what you allow in. And something as simple as switching oils can be one of the smartest decisions you make for your heart, your brain, and your quality of life as you age. Now that we've walked through these 5 common mistakes, take a moment to reflect. Have any of these habits made their way into your kitchen routine? Whether it's overcooking your eggs until they're dry and rubbery, eating them raw, thinking it's healthier, storing them improperly, using eggs that are past their prime, or cooking them in oils that quietly stir up inflammation. Each of these small missteps can have a bigger impact on your health than you might expect. The good news is making a change doesn't require an overhaul of your life. Just a few thoughtful adjustments, lowering your cooking temperature, avoiding raw eggs, refrigerating them properly, checking for cracks, and swapping your oil for a healthier alternative can go a long way in protecting your digestion, your heart, your energy, and your overall well-being. Eggs are one of nature's most perfect foods, but how you handle them matters. The older we get, the more important it becomes to make every bite count. So the next time you reach for a pan, think of your eggs, not just as breakfast, but as an opportunity to nourish your body the right way. If you found this video helpful or learned something new today, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and let us know what changes you plan to make. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone you care about, and hit that subscribe button plus the little bell so you never miss a tip that could make a real difference in your health. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay well, stay strong, and keep cooking with care.